Mi gente, it is time for cafecito break. Take this moment right now to warm up the feed. It's time to wake up. There is a battle in New York. This is an urgent emergency live stream from Boots on the Ground Warriors. We're going to be discussing tonight all eyes on New York, the battle in New York. For us, it's Curtis Sliwa versus Zoran Mamdani. But if you're listening to the mainstream media, they might try to tell you that Cuomo has a shot. Not with the people, I'm sorry. All right, mi gente. Thank you for being here today. This is Rosangel of Cafecito Break. Our special guest today is Sal Greco. We also have Alexa from Voices of Seniors. And this show is hosted by myself, one of the Pérez sisters, and Kozi, Kozi's Wellness, Mark for NY. I want to start today's video with a hot topic conversation. So would like to know what you guys think. And this is from a Sliwa supporter.
Ready? Yep. Hello, tell us your name and what brought you here today.
Oh, I came here to help Curtis get elected because I think he's getting screwed. I mean, Cuomo lost the Democratic primary. Why is he even running? It's a scheme that he's helping Zendami, who won the primary and also a Democrat. So Cuomo is helping steal votes from Curtis. I really believe that they're working as a team to take votes away from Curtis Sliwa.
Do you have a message for your fellow New Yorkers?
Yes, please vote for Curtis. Last time, I think only 82% of New Yorkers did not vote. 82% did not vote in the last mayoral election. 40% of them, you got to come out. 82%. That means only 18% voted in the elections. If they all came out and voted with their hearts and who they think will be really the best, not what the fake news says, not what the president says, not what a radio station say or the news. Have you ever been polled? Has anybody you know ever been polled?
Right.
No.
Right.
So what are these polls? What are they talking about?
And they're so misleading. But you make a great point. We need to come out and vote.
We need to come out and vote. Curtis is being robbed right now. Cuomo should not be in the race. He lost. He's helping Zendami win the race by stealing votes. If I spend $100,000 commercial, my polls will be up too.
Ciao.
Hello. Welcome to Cafecito Break with the New York Freedom Fighters. I'm your host, Rosangel, one of the Pérez sisters. That adorable face that you saw right before is my other half, Alex Pérez. Shout out to Alex Pérez and Alan for giving such a great interview. With me today are my brothers, Mark for NY, Kozi's Wellness, and Sal Greco, who is our special guest today. Thank you for being here, gents. This is a hot topic. The polls, I just saw one right before we were setting up the show, and the weaponization against Curtis Sliwa, according to a lot of our eyes, it just keeps just getting ridiculous. All right, Kozi, what do you think? Please introduce yourself and tell us your thoughts.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Kozi, a former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine. Just been spreading the message for medical freedom for almost 2 decades now. And that's all I want to say right now, because there's a lot to talk about. Basically, there's a lot going on. I want to say F you to Katsamatidis. I want to say F you to whatever his name is, Bill Ackman. You guys think you're going to control the narrative. You're trying really hard. There's lots of money right now being used to pay off your favorite voices, your favorite influencers. These are fake influencers, people with no soul. I see you guys, either you're terrified and you're scared, you're retarded or stupid or retarded, or you're taking the money. Either way, shame on you. Shame on you. New York is on the line. The city is burning. It's going to hell in a fucking basket. And we're the sane voices that are trying to wake you the hell up, before it gets fully destroyed. Now I'm going to pass the mic to Mark for NY to introduce himself, because I can go on all day and I'll be back for more fire for you guys.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans, and hello, New Yorkers. I'm going to keep it PG-13 for the first half hour of the show on Brooklyn free speech. But the second half hour, I'll be sure to curse people out as per usual during this election, because I'm extremely pissed off at New Yorkers right now. Former city council, former state assembly, former U.S. Senate candidate. The polls are BS. A perfect example is my own election, where the previous election, I was at 27%. Nobody thought I would even get 30%. I ended up getting 49% on election night. So what the polls say and what the experts say in New York mean absolutely nothing. There's one guy out there who is pounding the pavement, hitting the streets, and it's anybody's game, and that is Curtis Lewa. There is nothing more effective in politics than face-to-face campaigning. That's what I did in Coney Island. That's what I did in my district, face-to-face. The voters got to meet me personally. They got to talk to me, and that will beat any other, campaign ad on TV or whatever the fake news says. If they go and say Mark is crazy or whatever, they're like, well, I met Mark, and he's a really nice guy, and he has good ideas. The news is full of crap. I'm still voting for him. And that's what a lot of the Sliwas voters are going to do. So the polls are BS, and I'll do the non-PG rated one at the halfway point of the show. But it's time to pass it on to one of the OGs of the show, one of our regular guests who has his own show, and he's joining us today. Sal Greco, thanks for coming on. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I heard the music. I thought for a second I was at Con Sofrito, but then I'm thinking I'm at Cal Bakery because they love cafecito. So it's funny, as Rosie, I always joke around with her about that. For everyone who doesn't know who I am, I used to be as you could tell in the back, I was in New York City Police Department for 14 years until I was unceremoniously terminated because I am friends with Roger Stone, and I supported President Trump, who, I don't know, he never mentioned my name other than one time. But I lost my job for being a Trump supporter and a friend of Roger Stone's. They said I associated with him in a criminal association, even though they all hang out at Jimmy Rodriguez's spot with every felon you could see. So there's a lawsuit that's pending in my case against the city of New York. So I do have a vested interest in New York, even if I don't live there, because we have to resolve this one way or the other. That Eric Adams, who never had a chance to, ever get reelected, and people were, I was the other farce here. Eric Adams still doesn't want to even touch my case. They've dragged their feet because I got terminated in August of 2022. It's now November of 2025. What are we doing? Oh, we're dragging our feet, and the taxpayers are paying for it. And by the way, I have so much information, so much dirty stuff that I've been laying out on my own show, the Sal Greco Show, with the Finest Unfiltered with John and Eric and Marlon. All that stuff is going to be in the courtroom. So the longer they take to try to discuss this, the more it'll be, more money is going to pour out of cash register for the city. But as far as this election goes, like I was saying, and trust me, I know a lot about elections because look who I'm around. Number one, before we start what's going on today, just a few months ago, it was the same crowd, social media clowns, Fox, CNN, all these people, WABC. Eric Adams is the only choice. Even though we know he's a criminal, was indicted, should be in jail, and there's plenty more stuff to come with him. He was going to be the savior in New York City, polling at 10% in reality, and the highest unfavorability ever in any poll, 70+%. No one's ever seen that. You know who's number two? Right behind them at like 60%? Andrew Cuomo. That number, no one's ever surpassed, by the way, in any New York City election. You can't win with that high of an unfavorability. Now we get to the primaries. It was so bad Eric Adams didn't even run because he can't win. He can't get elected dog catcher. Forget about mayor. So when Cuomo runs, what happens? He gets destroyed, not only in the field. And mind you, all these people, a certain radio show host said, number one in the ratings, Andrew Cuomo's going to win that primary. He got shellacked. Not only did he get shellacked, okay, he was supposed to be like 95% the next mayor of New York City. Every poll said that. John McCarthy and Eric Dim had Mr. Mamdani on their show, even if it was for 20 minutes. You know what John said? He kept saying one thing. Mamdani's going to win that primary. Everybody saw this happen because he was the straw man. You have to understand Democrat politics. Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo could not win an election one-on-one against Curtis Lee or any other candidate. Eric is a criminal. Andrew is a criminal. They can't get more than 40% of a vote anywhere if it was one-on-one, which was proven in the Democrat primary when Cuomo got like 36%. That's a ceiling, folks. That's a ceiling. People hate him. He's detested. So he got smoked. But they created the straw man, and Mamdani was supposed to be the third candidate to help one of them get past Curtis, blew up in their face, and now he's the main guy. And the worst part about this, guys, is Fox News, WABC, every day, and certain social media people, I got to keep hearing that he's a terrorist, he's a jihadist, he's all this stuff that I want to see proven. Because this is an election about New York City, not about Israel, not about the president, not about what's going on in D.C. What's going on with affordability in New York City? What's going on with public safety in New York City? Let me ask you, when you walk down the street, do you see how much it costs to hail a cab? Do you see how much tolls are? That's what people are worried about. Their kids going to school. Nobody cares what happens in another country, and nobody cares what happens in D.C. Trump has very little influence other than money coming in federally, okay? The money that comes in federally, which you got to do a budget for, that is down the road. Day-to-day operations, the president does not run the city unless you get indicted and he lets you off the hook in a complete scam. That's another story, though. So all of this fear-mongering has created a monster. And Mamdani looks unbeatable and invincible because everywhere you look, every conservative, every mainstream media person and social media influencer is mentioning this guy. You know what they're not mentioning? You know what I've seen? His financials, his campaign finance report is a disaster. It's so bad that I don't know how he hasn't been knocked on the door by an FBI agent by now. The campaign finance board has all this stuff. He's headed down the same road as Eric Adams. There's plenty of straw donors, which I keep pointing to on my own show, and there's foreign contributions, a felony. So this guy is wounded coming in. Cuomo, who already we understand, that guy has no chance. I don't know how many times I got to keep saying this. No one with a 60% or above unfavorability wins an election. I don't care who you are. Not even Trump was that high. He was pretty up there. I think he had 40, 50%, never 60 and definitely not 70. So all of these factors, I don't understand what's going on here because the one guy who's been campaigning the whole time for the last 8 years, actually, for mayor, common sense, the people love him. He's much higher favorabilities than Cuomo, okay, almost with Mamdani. That's Curtis Sliwa. But you know what he's not? He's not favored by the elites. He's not an establishment figure. And you have people like the president himself, like Bill Ackman, like what's this other Bill? John Katzimatidis. These people are all getting together with a certain lobby. Check the names of that lobby and who these people are who are constantly screaming, Cuomo's going to save us. I mean, I disgustingly saw Dov Hikind, who I spoke to, I'm not going to lie. I was speaking to him for a little bit. All for Curtis just yesterday. It looks like he was in handcuffs. Cuomo's the guy. After he said all this stuff about him, and then today he was with the clowns over there somewhere in the World Trade Center. Like, these 4 clowns that were out there are going to actually change people's minds. When I want to show you, look at that video. There's nobody there other than press. So that's all you need to know. Cuomo has no support. Nothing is organic. Meanwhile, Curtis, everything is organic. So, I'll give you guys the floor, but I just had to get that off my chest because I can't believe what I'm seeing. And I can't believe people actually believe this low information talking point.
Yeah, I just want to say something, because now that you're saying that, I think what's happening is they're using a narrative to get the Jewish people scared, okay? And they're getting them to think that Cuomo's a great person. And the way they're doing it is they're calling him an extremist, a jihadist. I don't think he's an extremist. I don't think he's a jihadist. People can say whatever. Listen, he's going to be terrible. Okay. I want to stick to the policies. If you stick to the policies, that's how we use our brains and decipher who's the best candidate. Okay. If you're calling him an extreme Islam, I think that's just bullshit. He might have said things that are terrible. Yes. But I don't think he's going to convert people to Islam. These crazy conspiracy theories that they're having, like he's going to bring Sharia law. Like, no, he's not. Stop the nonsense. That's fear mongering to get you to vote for a scumbag. Okay. The scumbag is Andrew Cuomo. Listen, this is the game. And, basically, I just want to say that people, you're being fooled, right? They're fooling the Jewish people. The guy's pandering. He's kissing butt. He's making them feel like he's the one who cares about them. He didn't give a shit about them. What happened during COVID? How badly he treated them. Okay. So anyway, the point is, all you influencers, all you billionaires pumping money into this, and a lot of people are falling for it, right? Because money is powerful when you start seeing the advertisements. Like you said, low IQ, low information voters are going to believe that shit. But thank God for you, John, for you, Sal Greco, John Macari, Cafecito Break, Mark for NY. You guys are hitting it repeatedly, multiple times a day. This is an information war, and we're on top of it, and we're striking hard, and we're going to let the world know. Listen, I'm going to go down with the ship. We're fighting for our lives.
Cafecito, I think you're muted.
Yeah,
Thank you. And luckily for these technology things, the little pop-ups say that for you in case you like wig out. Okay. Because so I had an experience just yesterday with a canvasser for Zoran, excuse me. It was just like I was like around and they were, giving out flyers and they were being, there was a few of them. Well, please vote for Zoran. Please vote for Zoran. So then I got approached. It was like, hi, would you like a flyer? And I said, no, thank you. Are you going to be voting for Zoran? And I said, no. And the immediate question was, why? Because he's a Muslim? And I had probably the longest pause in the world because I'm a brown person and it's a white woman saying this to me. So I had this, I didn't even know what to do with it. So I leaned in and I said, are you aware that I'm a brown person? And she's like, that, but you're not answering my question. Do you have a problem with his religion? I was like, what is going on here? I was like, no, he has no experience. I'm going to vote for Sliwa Ja. But I didn't like that encounter because I'm like, is this how you're training the canvassers? Are you giving them talking points to it's like you're just looking for wounds that nobody has brought up. Like when Mamdani was crying, like an emotional. I love a man who's tapped in and tuned in. But if you are taking on a leadership capability, and you guys please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm speaking from the point of view of leading, mi gente, multi-million-dollar show productions for MTV Networks, BET, and VH1. Many of you look upon me like if I'm just a little kid in the street. You should not cast too many judgments because so many of the people that we all rock with are some of the most solid people filled with integrity. As you see with this push for everyone who's just like, Curtis, drop out. Curtis, get your supporters to drop out. Curtis is not dropping out. Everywhere he goes, everybody's like, but look at the polls, you can't make it. And then if that's not bad enough, then they start going to, okay, who are his hardest supporters? Let's start attacking them. So when I was interviewing Scott Lobedo the other day, and he straight up he all of a sudden, I asked him a question about loyalty and how did he feel about, being called this, people like us getting called spoilers. And he just took this big, deep breath, and you could just see the exhaustion in this man's being. It was like, I did this with Trump already. And now I have to do this with my city, and people are threatening me, and people are like sliding into my DMs, and I'm losing friends and families again. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, oh, I feel you, because that's exactly what's happening to the Perez sisters too. Maybe I'm not and that's such a magnified level, but definitely it's happening. And it's exhausting, because then when you have the freaking know-it-all conservative influencers that are out there, backseat driving, and they don't know shit about our New York City politics. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Beep, please cancel this. It's really frustrating, because they add to the noise, and some of them fund and they helped create a confusion momentarily in their naivete, but they're so pompous and so wealthy and they have a platform, and they're gonna have to freaking tell the little people in New York. No, we're all loyal to Curtis. Mark.
Yeah, I mean, you can curse on the show, Brooklyn Free Speech, so don't worry about bleeping anything out. I'm just saving the cursing for the halfway point so that people stay and tune in and wait for my rant for today.
You know something, Mark? I want you to say one thing before you go in anything. You mentioned the polls, right? When they said you were at 27% in 4 inch. Can you explain to people what a likely voter is and a registered voter? Because I'm pretty sure your polls were saying a likely voter is 27%, and they never touched registered voters or what party affiliation they are. They just threw this wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of thing and threw it in your face. Oh, Mark has no chance. He's at 27%. Those are likely voters. What the hell is a likely voter, Mark? Explain this to people, because they believe the polls. Oh, wait, no, they don't believe the polls. I don't know which one it is.
I mean, they believe the polls. I mean, the fake... Republicans don't believe the fake news when it's Trump or when it's the polls for Trump with Hillary Clinton or whatever. But now all of a sudden the polls are believable. But the polls could be different. Like I saw something. First of all, the number doesn't really matter. Like I saw one of the mayor polls and it polled 1,285 people. Okay, so there's like how many millions of people in New York? Like, and where did you poll them? Did you poll them in the most democratic area? Like what, I just want to clarify, it wasn't a poll. It was the previous election in that district 4 years ago was 27%. The actual polls, I don't know because I didn't pay attention to them, but the previous election 4 years prior was 27% of that district. So they were just going based off of that. But the polls could be text messages, and maybe Republicans get a text message and they don't answer it, and maybe a communist does, and maybe you're walking in the street and you're polling people, and Republicans don't want to be bothered because they have a job, and Democrats don't, so they're just sitting there. The communists don't. They want free stuff. They don't go to work, so they'll sit there and they'll take the poll, and the Republicans like, no, get away from me. I got to go to work. So, I mean, you can't trust the polls on anything. So, that's not all the details on polls. I'm not each poll is different. Some are more accurate than others, but I mean, the polls for Curtis Lewa are, if you're going into Williamsburg and you're polling people, yeah, Curtis Lee was going to be between 10 and 20% over there, but you're not looking at the big picture of all of New York City, and that's the big problem. But Cafecito, what happened with you was Democrats use the same strategy no matter what. It's the race card. It's still, and it doesn't work. It's like when I go and I'm campaigning and I'm trying to red pill somebody, I don't go and say, oh, you're not voting for Republican? Why? Because you're fucking retarded? Like, I'm not going to say something to piss them off and then, like, oh, I don't want to be retarded, so I'm going to go and vote Republican now. It's like they think that if you call them racist, that, oh, I don't want to be racist, so I guess I'll vote Democrat now. I don't want them to think I'm not voting for him because he's a Muslim. No salesmanship, no convincing anybody anything, just name calling and BS. So the classic race card is what you got there, and it doesn't work too well. But I'll save my rant for the 30-minute mark. We got a couple more minutes on Brooklyn Free Speech. So, Sal, anything you want to say before we wrap up the first half?
I'm going to say this. I could tell you, we're talking about polls. This latest one you saw, where they said Curtis with 11%. First of all, it's likely voters. There's 500 of them. We don't know who's registered. We don't know what party affiliation they are. This is what they call one of the suppression polls. Somebody calls up, commissions this. They do it very cheaply, very quickly, and they throw it in your face. So, oh, it's doom and gloom. And it just happens to be the 10% or 11% they're saying that Curtis has will all of a sudden have Cuomo being even with Mamdani. Understand the psychology they keep using. That is not the case, okay? That is not the case. And by the way, speaking of polls, I could tell you from someone inside of Curtis's camp that went around. They're in Brooklyn everywhere, by the way. From King County is very big. You know, there's Crown Heights, there's Coney Island, there's Brighton Beach, there's Bay Ridge. So they're canvassing everywhere, talking to people, knocking on doors. And that poll that they did while just talking to people that are registered voters, you had 40 for Mamdani, 30 for Cuomo, and the rest was Curtis Sliwa. So why is it that your eyes don't mistake what you feel, but then these people like Fox News and WABC, I mean, disgracefully, someone today, very prominent on there, is simping for Andrew Cuomo because I believe his father did today, which is disgraceful as a former police commissioner. So, I mean, you know, it's like the whole thing has completely collapsed. And by the way, that police commissioner, stop, question, and frisk, and a nightmare that NYPD in New York City still has to pay for was under that guy's watch because very heavy-handed with that. The one thing that person didn't do. Came out for Andrew Cuomo, by the way, who is anything but pro-law enforcement, just so you know. He's Mr. Defund the Police, cash bail, and released 43 cop killers, and he'll let everyone out of jail because Rikers Island is just going to be another like a real estate, like brand new real estate for them. They want everyone out so they can make their little real estate. You know, John Katz will have like WABC studios there, you know, a satellite station. This is ridiculous. I don't know how people are falling for this, but again, many are low information in New York City. That's your problem. You need to be informed. If you don't believe me, you could Google everything because it's right in front of your face. You want to check out Zohran Mamdani's campaign? Go on the New York City Campaign Finance Board. You'll find the straw donors and the foreign donations if you think I'm lying. And check out Sam Mantar, whitecollarfraud.com wrote a whole article about it. Now it's catching steam. Now, they're all straw donors in the 501c3 scam. That's what's really running New York City right now. That's what's funding businesses, 501c3. So you guys want to vote for this guy. If he gets indicted or whatever, don't look at anyone. You knew it was coming, and you fell for the trap because you listened to John Catsimatidis, who he's for Mamdani, okay? He likes this kind of stuff.
All right. Well, we got to wrap up Brooklyn Free Speech. Those of you tuning in on TV on Brooklyn Free Speech, on Verizon 44 in all 5 boroughs, Optimum 69, and Spectrum Channel 56, Saturdays 2:30. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Now, is there anything else you wanted to add, Sal? I want to, at the 30-minute mark, I think I'm going to go off. So I just want
you go ahead. I mean, you know, I'll come back later on or whatever. I'll give my whole take with everybody at the end because it's really disgusting, though. If people don't believe me, like I said, you could fact check me because I'm fact checking everything in real time, and I can't believe none of this is being mentioned. This guy's got campaign finance issues. We're talking about his religion. What's wrong with you? Nobody cares.
Like we're not talking about the main subject. But listen, mi gente, Sal's gonna be right back with us. We have a short interview that we want to share with you because this is a really important conversation. This is one of the sisters that represent a nonprofit that has been instrumental in raising awareness of the nursing home scandal. So please, this is important. This is to tell you what we are all echoing really from organic New Yorkers, that there's no love for Cuomo. And it's not because we're so anti-Democrats. No, he hurt our beautiful New York and our beautiful elders. Sal, we'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Can I just have Sal on screen for this rant really quick? I'd like to get his reaction and stuff as I go in, okay? So, New York City has some of the dumbest fucking voters in the world, okay? First, you got the communists, and we know they're dumb as dirt, okay? They're brainwashed from, their professors and their liberal BS degrees and gender studies and stuff like that, we know they're brainwashed. They think money grows on trees. They don't understand basic economics. They want to vote for Zero Manny Petty over here or whatever his name is, Zoran the moron. Then you got Republicans who 4 years ago didn't want to vote for Sliwa because he wasn't a Trump supporter. How stupid could you be? So you're just going to let, Adams win 4 years ago. And then now, Adams was the savior, as Sal was saying in the beginning of the program. And then Adams drops out. So now Cuomo's the savior. It's like, okay, for the first time in history, it's not a heads-up battle. The Democrats are splitting the vote between the communists and the people who are not communists. And Curtis Lewa got 28% 4 years ago. All he needed to do was get to 40, and the recent poll says he would get 41 heads up against Mamdani. Okay? So if you stupid idiots didn't go and decide that Cuomo, the grandma killer, the sexual harasser who he says it was politics, whatever, okay, the lockdowns, everything, all of a sudden, it's because he's paying influencers. His campaign is paying influencers. That's what it comes down to. I've used several analogies, okay? I said, Mamdani is the electric chair, Cuomo is lethal injection. Mamdani is the anaconda that looks big and scary, but Cuomo is the king cobra that's still poisonous and will kill New York. Mamdani wants to butt rape New York City, and these people want to convince us that Cuomo is going to take us out to dinner first and he's going to use lube, so it's better. Okay? Stop being fucking stupid. We don't want to get screwed in the ass. We don't want the electric, we don't want the poisonous snake. We don't want lethal injection. We want New York to live. We want it to be saved. And the only person that could do that is Curtis Lewa. So vote for Curtis Lewa before it's too late. Thank you.
Okay.
Good rant. I like it. I like a lot of passion and that's what you need, because a lot of voters are just, they're not, low information. Right?
We need to wake up the community members. Mi gente, these are just the beginning of our rants. We will continue, but we do wanna bring up our guests. So Sal, we'll see you in a moment.
I'll see you in a little bit.
We're gonna see you a little bit. Okay, mi gente, at this time, it is my pleasure to bring up to you one of the sisters from one of our sisters, right? Alexa. Alexa, welcome to the show. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you so much for coming in and we are living extraordinary times, right? And just briefly, if you could share with people, tell us about your organization, and why it was founded, and what is one of the most important messages that you would like us, the community, to know in New York.
Well, again, my name is Alexa Rivera. I'm co-founder of Voices for Seniors. Voices for Seniors was started in the beginning of the pandemic after my mother died in a nursing home. Governor Cuomo passed certain mandates that kind of trapped a lot of seniors in nursing homes without allowing their family to advocate for them, see that they were not being taken care of properly. And that's kind of where Voices for Seniors started. Since then, my sister and I and several members, so we're trying to get some type of accountability from Cuomo, which we've at this point we've been unsuccessful. We've tarnished his reputation a little bit, but getting accountability for politicians is one of the hardest things that I think somebody can try to do. It's pretty hard.
Oh my God! Well, I want to just offer my condolences to you and your sister.
Thank you.
For those people that lost an elder, and Kozi and I, we were there that day when you did the 5th anniversary, right? All of the mayoral candidates were there. One was missing. Wasn't one missing, Alexa?
The center of the attention, the one that everybody doesn't like. It's he know not to show his face there. Of course, it would have not went well for him.
Alexa, do you believe the polls?
I don't. I do to a certain extent because I feel like a lot of people are brainwashed by this Mamdani guy, especially the younger people. I think they hear him saying a lot of free this and free that, and everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. But I don't. I feel like Curtis Lewa has a support system that people don't really want to acknowledge, and I'm hoping that it shows in the polls when it counts.
Right.
I kind of agree with your friend Mark there. I love your rant. It was pretty awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mark, Kozi, feel free to ask any questions you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, how did you obviously how did you take the first steps? Obviously, he's the former governor. Going up against people of power obviously can be intimidating at times. But how did you get the organization together?
Well, we first started with just doing a Facebook group because we knew that we couldn't be the only ones kind of going through the same thing, being lied to by the nursing homes. I at the time, during the pandemic, I was a Cuomo groupie. I used to watch his press conferences daily. I had voted for him, initially. I didn't realize when my mother passed away, I would continue to watch his press conferences and hear him say things like nursing homes are private equities. If you have a family member in a nursing home, get them out. But his right-hand partner, Melissa DeRosa's family, is part of the Greater Health of New York. So, of course, he gave them a get-out-of-jail-free card, and he allowed them to do it. That mandate was in correlation with them, just to protect them more than anything. The nursing homes are very highly protected. We've done a lot of research through YouTube, seen a lot of legislative hearings that have been going on for years. The seniors have been unprotected for a long time. We didn't realize it until my mother died, how bad it really is. Unfortunately, my concern is what's going to happen to all of us when it comes to our time being in a nursing home if we have no family that's willing to take care of us.
Yeah, they really just dropped the ball on that. It's very unfortunate. It's not their mother, because their mother and one of the people in Pennsylvania had a similar situation. I forgot what elected official it was, but made sure to take her grandmother out before sending the COVID positive patients there. So they don't like the John Lennon song "Working Class Hero." There's a place for you at the top still, but first you have to learn how to smile as you kill. Like these politicians just go like it's like part of another daily thing. Like we just letting all these people die, whether sending them off to war to die or just like, oh, they're old people, who cares? Like,
yeah,
they have people that care about them, and this is the person that, people, influencers who are selling their soul, by the way, because the campaign is paying for these influencers to go and go for Cuomo. And Curtis Lewa's own radio station, Katsimatidis, and all these people just turn their back on him because of money. They want Cuomo because Cuomo has ties with developers. Katsimatidis is also a real estate mogul. Aside from the supermarkets, he said he's taking all the supermarkets out of New York City if Mamdani wins. But Cuomo isn't the answer. How do you have any dignity to vote for somebody that killed all these people with no remorse? Like, not even, no apology, no nothing, no admitting that you're wrong. I mean, I'm going on another rant in here, but thanks to everyone in the comments, Sapphire, Olivia, for supporting the show. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how anyone could, like, if you had the choice between even Mamdani or Cuomo, like, I would think that I don't know how that would work for you because of what Cuomo did. Like, how could you see yourself to vote for anybody? You'd probably stay home, I'm assuming, right?
I'm a little scared, unfortunately, when during the primary, I kind of had to opt out of voting because I couldn't vote for either. I'm glad that kind of Curtis is in the race to a certain degree because I'm able to vote. I'm a registered Democrat. I have been all my life. I think a lot of people they stay with a party out of loyalty and they forget about how these policies affect them and their family members, and they kind of just stay with that mindset. Unfortunately, I want to say a lot of Puerto Ricans, even in on the island, they all kind of stay with that same mentality of I'm a Democrat. I'm going to continue to vote Democrat no matter what policies they put forth or even the things that they've done in the past. um as a young adult, I never really paid attention. I just voted Democrat all the way. COVID really opened my eyes when they started passing mandates for vaccines, people losing their jobs, the nursing home, a lot of other things that have come up in the last, I want to say 5 to 6 years, that have really opened my eyes to how the Democrats of today are not the Democrats that I once supported, or they don't have the same values. I mean, I can go down the list of many things as to why I turned to a conservative vote. Um, but that's just a few. The nursing home, the vaccine mandates, those are the main things that have kind of changed my policy thoughts, how I vote going forward. Um, Even with Trump, I mean, I didn't like Trump the first time he ran. I kind of felt like everybody else. I didn't like his personality, but I started to pay attention more to his policies, and that kind of changed my thought process on, how I can vote another way without having to still follow the party that I followed ever since I was 18 years old and able to vote.
You know, you reminded me of something when I was campaigning. I was shocked to see like some people, they're registered Democrat, they don't even know that they can vote for somebody else. Like they don't even know that it's an option. Like they think because they're a registered Democrat that in the general election they don't have the option to vote for the Republican. They think, like, my own father thought the same thing. He was Democrat his whole life, and my own election, he's like, well, I'm a Democrat. I can't vote for you. I was like, yes, you can. It's a general election. You go and you check the Republican box. You don't have to, just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. Like, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of people that I met that did not know that they're allowed to vote for somebody else. They think because their party is Democrat, that's when they go to vote, that's all they could do is vote Democrat because they're part of that party. It's crazy.
Unfortunate.
Pass it on to Kozi.
How you doing, Alexa?
Hey, Kozi, how are you?
Good to see you here. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. And it's really sad that how do you feel? Like you can see like a lot of the Democrats, for instance, like you could see how they can fall for it because they're indoctrinated into it. But how do you feel now when you're hearing like even the Republicans, conservatives questioning and saying, "Oh, maybe we should vote for Cuomo because he's better than Mamdani"? Like, how does that make you feel as somebody who's lost their parent?
I'm bothered because, I mean, it's been an uphill battle trying to get any politician to kind of acknowledge what happened to the seniors. Mostly it's been supported by the Republicans because, of course, it's against the Democrats. But we have had minimal success with getting anybody to really help us push any policies or getting any real accountability. So of course, to me, it's like a slap in the face. It's like, so the 20,000 plus that died weren't enough. Like, you're going to continue to push for someone who not only was accused of rape, but also facilitated the death of so many.
Yeah. Well, let's just be clear, right? Because I know you didn't mean to say that. But sexual harassment, because we don't want to get in trouble
Yes.
here.
Oh,
But
Curtis, I'm
it was
sorry.
no, it's okay. I know because I know that you didn't really mean that, right? Like you meant sexual harassment, correct? Just
Correct.
for the record. All right.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah. And it was 13 women allegedly sexually harassed. And then when it came down to Letitia James, she said it was 11. Right. That's what she says. It's sickening. It's sickening that this man can show his face after sexually harassing these women, and he acts when he went on that stage like it didn't really happen because they dropped the case. They dropped it, but they dropped it. Dropping the case doesn't mean you didn't do it. Okay, it just means you dropped the case. So he does this unashamed. He killed elderly people, right, through his directives. He's done a lot. He's done a lot of terrible things, and yet he's not in his basement where he belongs. He's out in public with no shame, pure narcissist, pure megalomaniac. Like, imagine if it was a normal person, like doing these things and getting caught. They'd be embarrassed. They wouldn't show their face to the public. This guy's smiling and thinking he's cool. Listen, for those out there thinking that they're going to vote for him, he's not going to win. He has no fucking chance of winning, no matter what, no matter how you scrunch the numbers. Nobody fucking likes him except these billionaires who are pushing you to believe that this guy is the choice. Okay?
He's also
He's
Italian,
don't
Kozi.
like
Don't
him.
forget, he's Italian.
Yeah.
He's allowed to do things.
Pero
that's what he
listen,
said.
for being an Italian, ¿dónde está?
That's what he said. He
Because
blames it on his mother,
there's no
his father.
energy there. There's no energy with Cuomo. Él está bien
He's lost-
mongo, like.
He's lost his swagger, like that Eric Adams swagger. Cuomo lost that fire, that swagger. He doesn't have it. People
Well,
don't look at
listen,
it.
this
He
is
looks pathetic.
what I would like to say as we start wrapping out with Alexa. Thank you so much. Is that we have had the opportunity, right? Because we spent so much time in the city, boots on the ground, doing a whole bunch of like stuff. We bump into Kozi and I, my sister. We could have told you that Zoran was gonna take it for the primary. You could have asked us, folks like us who help local politicians who or candidates who are running. We help them get on the ballot because we have big mouths and we've developed a skin since 2020 that Zoran Mamdani was gonna. Weren't we saying it? We might have even said it on a show, Kozi, that it looked like Zoran was gonna take it and everybody was like, it's gonna be Cuomo. And then we already know what happened. It wasn't Cuomo. And then he dips out. So he gets, to me, I'm like, you get rejected twice by your party, kicked out with this big disgrace. And then I'm going to save this for when the gents come back up. But I'm going to bring this up because I feel like they started talking about it. As a matter of fact, I believe John Macari shared a video of the little moments where Eric Adams was talking all this crap about Andrew Cuomo. And then cut to, do you remember the second debate? They showed up in the intro. Andrew Cuomo says something about the Knicks. When the debate finished, you know where Andrew went? He went to the Knicks game.
With his boyfriend.
I can't believe I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Blue. I was not expecting that. Okay. Where was Curtis Sewell? What did he do after the debate?
He went to his watch party with all his supporters.
We saw him, he entered, and
Yep, he spoke to us.
Congratulated him. And
right? He spoke to us. He greeted all of his supporters. Then he had a private meeting with his staff. And then he took time and he still recorded different videos. And you want to tell us that Cuomo's our guy, that he's the one when he's been MIA, when he hasn't been campaigning, when to this day we have yet to meet a canvasser. I've been supporting a local candidate with my sister. We see Zoran, folks. We have yet to see a Cuomo representative handing out a flyer. Hey, go vote. I find that quite puzzling. That's not to say they don't exist. What I'm saying is, where's the money going? How are you using it? So this is what
He's
I'm
using
saying.
it on influencers.
Alexa, please let everyone know where they can connect with you, if they can support and want to make a donation, where they can go, and any messages that you have as for how you see all this playing out.
I'm not sure how I see all this playing out. Of course, I am praying for Sliwa to win this race. As far as my group, Voices for Seniors, we have a website where you can make donations. We have our Christmas initiative Christmas Operation Seniors coming up this year, which we try to focus on nursing homes, on people who don't have family. So any donation is helpful. We also have an Amazon link where you can directly buy something from there. Every year we get more donations, so we try to reach out to as many nursing homes as possible. We started off with like 3 or 4. We're almost to 9, hoping to up the number every year. So you can reach us on there, voicesforseniors.com. Of course, we have a Facebook page as well. It's public, so you can reach out to us there as well. And I guess as far as Voices for Seniors is concerned, we're still fighting. We're still trying to get accountability as far as Cuomo's concerned. We're also still trying to help as much as we can, do outreach, continue to talk to other politicians that are willing to listen. Curtis Lee actually did a podcast one time with my sister and another board member, and another member that we know, Donna Johnson. She also did a recent commercial with him. So we're continuing to try to fight the good fight here, hoping to protect our seniors as best as we can going forward.
Thank you so much.
We
You
appreciate
always
that.
have an open invitation to Cafecito Break.
Thank you.
And whenever there's like an important announcement or message or press release, please send it to us.
Absolutely.
The viejitos are our treasures that so much of modern society disregards, but I'm grateful that people like you and your sister exist to remind us by not just your love, but also your advocacy that we must protect our beautiful, beautiful treasures. So God bless you, and mucho besito a ti y a tu hermana. Mwah!
Thank you.
And Alexa,
Thank
keep
you.
talking. Your voice is very important, and it's
Thank you.
because this story cannot go away.
Thank you all for
need to keep
listening. I
talking
appreciate
about
it.
it. You need to keep talking about it, and it's history, and it needs to be said. So keep doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, mommy.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night.
All
night.
right. Okay. All right, guys. This has been such a great show. Let's bring the gents back on. We've got Sal Greco back in action, and thank you for inviting your brother, our brother here, John McCary. Hello, McCary.
Look
How
who it
are
is
you?
over here.
It feels like our old circle, but I feel Marlon, like I miss Marlon, like and Eric. So shout out to the fellas.
He's in the chat, Mark.
Marlon's in the comments.
Yeah.
Am I up on screen or
Yeah,
do
you're
you
on
see my
screen.
camera?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the world
Yep.
can see you.
Oh, that's weird. It doesn't show me. What's up, people? Thanks for having me.
John, I know you're going to go on a rant because I'm just as disgusted as you are watching a former police commissioner endorse Andrew Cuomo, and his son, who for months was saying Curtis, all of a sudden has turned into the John, doing the John Katz thing. Everybody has to fall in line. So what do you got to say about that, John? Another WABC, and not only WABC host, but the former police commissioner who I thought was a Republican is also endorsing Andrew Cuomo, whose little rally they had on the corner of wherever that was on Liberty Street had what, like just a couple of media people there? Not a big crowd there, John.
Listen, this is a joyous time because everything's being revealed.
Yes.
Everybody's being revealed.
Mhm.
The long grass was been over New York City for a long time. It just got a really short cut, and we're seeing who all the snakes are. We're seeing exactly what we all been saying for a long time, that these social media influencers, that these political paid talking heads, they're not their own mouths. They're not their own men. Latest one that has came out is Greg Kelly, who's been railing, who he actually had me on his show, and all he wanted to talk about was Governor Cuomo, and he didn't want to have any blame on Eric Adams. He wanted it all on Governor Cuomo, and he kept re-leading me back into it. I'm like, yeah, but that wasn't Cuomo. To be fair, that was Adams. And now even him has been revealed is that John Katzimatidis, a billionaire, is pulling his strings. And I think it's a glorious time because we're seeing a huge shift in media. We're seeing who actually the conservatives are. We're seeing who the independents, the centrists, the moderates, the Republicans. We're seeing who we could trust. right? Like, it is what it is. God sends the cowards away first, and we're seeing all the cowards flee, and it's a glorious time. And I know people get scared and disheartened by this time, but I see it the exact opposite. I see that this is a time, this is a joyous time, because this is a time that we should be celebrating. We need to understand how important Curtis Lewa's campaign has been. It has revealed all, and he's ran such a great campaign. And just listening to you, Cafecito, where you're talking about how you don't see any Cuomo canvases on the ground, but we see all of these Midwest social media influencers who haven't been to New York in years rapping about it. I mean, it's a glorious time to be alive, my friends. And God bless Curtis Lewa for staying in this fight. God bless you guys for staying in this fight. And I respect people that think that Andrew Cuomo is a good choice, but I don't believe any of the people that are saying the reason that they're saying it. The talking heads, the contributors, they're getting their strings pulled, and we're watching it all happen live up front on live TV. Their voices, regardless of what happens in this mayor race, there's no coming back from this. They have made themselves irrelevant. Their voices are irrelevant and can no longer be trusted.
They're done. They're done. You exposed yourselves. Complete trash, complete garbage. Either way, whether you're just dumb and you believe it, which we don't think, or whether you've been paid off or threatened to be cut off from funds, right? Either way, we don't respect you. You're either not smart enough or you're paid off. Hack. Listen, the real people are standing right in front of you, right here. We're the ones who are going to keep telling you the truth because we can't be bought off. We are real human beings who have skin in the game. We've all been hurt in some way by this system, this evil system that they want to prop up with the guy who actually was leading that system. Okay, the guy who kicked your grandma down the stairs, the one who harassed 13 women allegedly.
Released cop killers out in the street.
The one who said, we're not going to make America great because it was never that great. So then what's your point? If you
ICE
say
thugs.
that shit, listen, if you say that, then what's the point of you being a governor or mayor, or like, why are you running? You're basically saying that you're not going to help make this country good. Okay? That's what you said. And then you said conservatives leave New York. What kind of mayor would that be? What kind of mayor would that be? And then he makes millions off of a stupid book that he wrote, full lies, off taxpayer money.
And not to jump in here, but like everyone's harping on the Zohran Mamdani as a radical, and Zohran Mamdani is in fact a radical. On stage, he said that ICE is a reckless agency in the last debate, but national media, especially the Republican media in New York, they glossed over what Andrew Cuomo said about ICE. Andrew Cuomo said that he's going to use the NYPD to stop ICE. That is more radical than anything that Zohran Mamdani has said. It's right up there with the one thing that he said, where he said he would use the NYPD to arrest Netanyahu. So what are we getting here with an Andrew Cuomo? What are you getting with a far left Andrew Cuomo? What really are the differences there? And again, I was like, I almost couldn't breathe when I heard him say that. And I was like, oh, that's it. He's done. His campaign's over. This is going to be national media tomorrow. Andrew Cuomo says he's going to use the NYPD to stop ICE. What are we talking about? Civil war? And yet
Civil War.
No one picked it up, Mark. Nobody, dude.
No, the former police commissioner endorsed them instead. That's the.
They like bail reform now. Bail reform's good now. 5 years they've been railing against bail reform, but now they love bail reform. Now bail reform's fine. It's the whole lesser of two evils thing. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like the whole the lesser of two evils. Like I can't buy into it.
No.
There's a third candidate. There's an option that's not evil. Vote for that one.
Correct. And
all the effort being made to try to convince you that Cuomo is the answer, we know it's bullshit. We know Curtis Lewa is not controllable. That's the thing. Curtis can't be controlled. The other two can be controlled. I don't think they care whether Cuomo or Mamdani wins, to be honest with you. As long as Sliwa doesn't win, and the only way to take Sliwa out of the race is if you take away a lot of the Republican votes, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to Megyn Kelly recently, too. It pains me to say this, but you have to vote for Cuomo. Shut the fuck up.
It pains me to say this with all the money going up my butt. Listen,
Yeah.
in what universe is a major candidate, right? Major party candidate like Curtis Sliwa, in what universe is he a spoiler? Historically, spoilers are always the independent candidate, even though I love independents many times, libertarians and stuff. But historically, the independent is always the spoiler. It's never a major party candidate, and it's never somebody who already lost the primary and then tries to cheat and like jump ship and then starts up and makes believe he's independent. You're not independent. You're not independent. So in what universe are we calling Curtis Lewa a spoiler?
To your point, Kozi, you can't now look. He won his party's nomination, Curtis, as the top of the ticket. He carries everyone underneath him. That's the Athena Clarks of the world, the Ina Vernikovs of the world, the Vicky Paladinos of the world, and no, I don't know how to say this. In no political election will the top person of a major party drop out so that the entire ticket goes down with them. Without Curtis on top of the ticket, where does that leave Vicky Palladino? Where does that leave Ina Vernikov? I'm sure they're going to have a huge turnout because of Curtis voting down that Republican line. So Andrew Cuomo, that represents himself, he got crushed in the primary. He can't win. I don't know how many more times I'm going to keep saying this. Who is he carrying on that ballot?
Yeah,
no one.
The good thing is when I went to vote the other day, voted for Curtis Lewa, guess what I saw? Curtis Lewa was the second name, which is great, and Cuomo was tucked in underneath to the side. So maybe a lot of people, since they're retarded anyway, since most New Yorkers are retarded, they might just miss it. They might not see it because he's off to the side. They're going to be like, oh, I guess I'll just vote for Sliwa. Hopefully that's what they do. Hopefully that's what they do.
The retarded ones are going to vote for zero Manny Petty, unfortunately. But yeah, it's mind-boggling. But to bring up a poll that it's been circulating around, and you posted it a few days ago too, John, I believe. Heads up poll. Now, I don't believe the polls to begin with, but even this poll said that heads up against Mamdani, Curtis Lewa would get 41%, Cuomo would get 39%. And this is what I've been telling people since day one. Curtis Lewa can get 40%, and he could win with 40%. The problem is, 10 to 15% of these Cuomo-sexuals, these cucks for Cuomo, are going to vote for Cuomo and take that away from Sliwa, making his job that much harder. It could have been an easy win for Curtis Sliwa if we didn't have to battle all these cucks for Cuomo out there, these influencers who are getting paid whatever amount of money. And it's legal for Cuomo's campaign to pay these influencers. I'm not going to name her name specifically, but she's like, a famous influencer. I know her. She interviewed me when I was running for U.S. Senate. Nice person. But she's like, hot girls for Cuomo. And I'm like, that just made you look less hot right now. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, how are you going to sell your soul like that? This guy is the reason why New York, it's Adams, de Blasio, Cuomo, and Hochul. Those are the, four horsemen of the apocalypse of New York, so to speak. They're bringing forth the apocalypse of New York. Okay, Cuomo with his bail reform, the lockdowns, you name it. Adams, de Blasio, all extreme, and Cuomo, they vote for them because they're the Democrat. And then, as you mentioned before, Sal, their approval ratings are, the 60 to 70% of people don't like them. I think de Blasio was probably at 80%, if I remember correctly. So they vote them in because they're a Democrat, and they don't like them by the time they leave. When are people going to learn the lesson after 12 years of Democrat mayors that you're going to vote Democrat, they're going to fuck shit up, and then you're going to hate them at the end of 4 years? Just vote for the Republican and do the right thing if you want actual change.
Dude,
sorry. No, I just wanted to add to what Mark was saying, and then I'll pass it on to you, John. I was just saying, except that when you're in New York City, in a blue city, and you dare to even come out of the closet as a Republican by just daring to even have a sticker that is visible. These people treat you like you're less than human. And I can share with you an example that just happened just yesterday again with another supporter. This is another young person. The first one, it was an elder. This was a young woman, excuse me, who was representing and canvassing for Zohran Mamdani, right? So I go chat with her, and I just, out of curiosity, I was like, hey, out of curiosity, how do you like, being a canvasser? And, chit chat. She's like, it's not that bad, but, some people don't want to talk to you, and you build the muscle. No surprise there, still going, right? She goes, but, this is good. You know, it's worth it. What we're doing is important. And I said, okay, well, I just wanted to share with you because obviously, I'm supporting the Republican candidate. No matter who wins the election, it's important for people to still know that we need to work together. And her face contorted in a very weird way. And she said, nobody ever needs to work with Republicans. Like, no, why? No, 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 no.
It's crazy. And then you have the problem is now you have conservative influences, and you have some elected and former elected Republicans basically telling you that that Republicans in New York City no longer matter. There could never be a Republican mayor, is what they're saying. So why are we putting candidates up then? If that's the case, and what's the message that we're sending to everyone in the streets? We're telling everybody, like, you know what happened? The Democratic Party turned socialist. So now your best bet is that you have to vote for a far left progressive. Like, that's your best bet. And I keep giving this analogy, and I've gave it to several people who I've debated with, and no one could like really debunk what I've been saying. One, I'm like you, Mark. I don't believe any of the polls because they've all been wrong. And my other thing is I keep giving this analogy. Let's say that it's 2028. J.D. Vance is the Republican primary winner, right? I know Ilhan Omar wasn't born in this country, so I know she cannot be president, but let's just pretend she could. So Ilhan Omar, who I think most would relate Zohran Mamdani with, member of the DSA, people classify her as a radical Muslim. She is a radical Muslim. She said a lot of crazy things on the far left. And so she outbeats Gavin Newsom in the Democratic primary. So she becomes the Democratic nominee. And what would happen, and what would you think if now Fox News, Newsmax, 770, all these conservative influences, all these Republicans are telling you, well, we need to elect Gavin Newsom to save America. And people are buying it. Republicans with their "Don't Tread on Me" flags outside their house, with their Donald Trump, no more bullshit, all this other stuff, MAGA, 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 they're telling you, you know what? We just got to bite the bullet and vote for Gavin Newsom. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, wow, Democrats are political geniuses, because that's exactly what's happening in New York. They have you voting for the man who created all of the problems in New York. They have you voting for a man that most of the people in New York, didn't matter what side of the political spectrum you were on, wanted in jail, and now people are begging for him. It's insane, man. And we're being manipulated, and it's the people at the top. It's the little gray head Pee Wee Herman, Bill Ackman, the John Katzimatidis, and a lot of other billionaires that are directly involved in this. And it has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the city of Yes, which both Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani both want enforced. They both want to have that go through. Curtis Lee was against the city of Yes, which hands over parkland and multifamily and single family homes over to developers. And so I agree with you 100%, Mark, when you're sitting there and you said they don't care if it's Zohran Mamdani or Andrew Cuomo, and you are 1,000% right, in my opinion, because it doesn't matter. It's all about handing the New York City over to developers, and it won't happen under Curtis Sliwa, and that's why you see the attacks and the amount of money that's being spent to tarnish this man, who's really done nothing wrong.
East River Park in the Lower East Side got torn down. They said it was because of flooding. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. I said, There's no way they're going to rebuild a park over there. It's right on the water. The developers are going to get their hands on it. They're going to say it's not the funding. And, I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen where the developers are going to be able to get that going. But vote no on all of the propositions, by the way, everyone who's listening. On the back of your ballot, just vote no to the city of yes. Vote no for everything. They want to make the city election the same time as the presidential election. So instead of 2029, they want the mayor election to be 2028. That way, more Democrats come out and make it even harder for Republicans to win. So vote no on all of the propositions on the back. This is probably the last time a Republican can win. And, there are people who said Curtis Lewa isn't a good candidate. The Republicans should have had a better candidate. Really? Like you guys just finished saying, all the same people all said that Republicans don't have a chance to win. Why is somebody going to go and put their time, money, and effort into running if you're going to go and say that they can't win because they're a Republican?
I'll tell you why. There's plenty of people right now that are brainwashed under Republicans. And look, MAGA doesn't run New York City. I like to inform you that. When MAGA, which was Trump, kind of endorsed Eric Adams, he went from like 12% to under like 8%, and he was done. Then now I just got a text message from one of these Cuomo PACs saying that Trump endorsed him. He really didn't. He kind of left it out there. But again, he's saying Cuomo, that's dropping him. See, the other flip side of these polls no one's paying attention to is 71% of the electorate will vote against any Donald Trump endorsed candidate. That is like the kiss of death in New York City. Now, he might be popular. I don't know how popular these days around the United States. But as far as New York City goes, the MAGA connection will burn you. You will not get in office, especially for mayor. You might win city council. You might win these little districts that win for Trump. But you're not getting into the mayor's office. So Curtis, who's just as popular as Trump, at least in the city, but not disliked. He's not disliked. And you could tell by the polls, they actually show him he's more highly favorable. I think he was past 50%, meaning people like Curtis. Okay? They don't like Trump. His approval ratings suck in New York City. So stop, David Rem out there, stop relying on this guy. You look like a fool running around. They don't like Trump in New York City. Maybe you do. That might work in Staten Island. It won't work in Manhattan. You're screaming and yelling Trump. The more you scream about that, the 71% grows. It goes to 72, 73. They hate him, which is why Mamdani keeps screaming about him and Cuomo. If you keep saying Trump, 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 you ignore that they don't have any solutions. So that's what you run the race on. I'm going to be the guy to go against Trump. What about the issues the voters want? Okay. Then the second thing, what John was talking about, there's a district attorney race in Manhattan that I heard John Katsimatidis and Greg Kelly and Mr. I'm number one in the morning talk about all the time. They have Maud Moran. She's running. You wouldn't know this because none of them are supporting her. I don't see John Katz, Mr. Manhattan GOP, has he even mentioned her name, but he keeps saying Alvin Bragg is bad, and he tried to put Trump in jail. I mean, Trump hates this guy. Why isn't he backing Maud Moran? Nothing. You don't see that because they want Alvin Bragg, because they need a punching bag, because in another year from now, when midterms come, don't be surprised if your favorite president gets crushed in those midterms. And then the following months, you're going to be hearing all about impeachment in regards to, who did he let off? Oh, yeah, that Norwegian rat, as Eric Dim likes to say, Eric Adams. And how did that go down? Was it Boris Epstein in there? Was it, I don't know, was Steve Bannon in there? Was it Eric Trump? Who was involved exactly in it? Was it Emil Bove? Why did DOJ do that? You never ask these questions. Look, Trump was the better of the two candidates, Kamala Harris and him, right? People believed in him. I voted for the guy 3 times. So did John. So did all of us, right? But let's be honest. He's not the greatest at making decisions lately, correct? I mean, your gas is still high. Your grocery bills are still high. But he's in, where is he now? Malaysia today? So, look, he's not the end-all, be-all. He told you Eric Adams, then he said Andrew Cuomo, 2 disasters for New York City that personally crushed him. So for the David Rems of the world, Curtis Sliwa is the actual Republican you need, because the last 2 Republicans that got in as mayor was Giuliani and Bloomberg, and they were liberal Republicans. That's the best way to describe them. They weren't screaming MAGA, everyone's illegal, we got to lock them up. That'll get you launched out of New York City. Might work in Staten Island, but you still need the other 4 boroughs. So Curtis appeals to all, especially the Cuomo voter. So that is the best candidate you could put out. I don't know who you're going to have after that, because if they're going to start with the MAGA stuff, you're going to get 10% in the polls and you'll be done. 10% there, maybe 20% in an election. Then New York City doesn't want to see that. You might win as a liberal Republican, especially in a 3-man race. That's the best way to describe it. John's only said this 1 billion times. I don't know how many more times you got to keep hearing it, but it's true. And go pull out the numbers. You'll see that I'm telling you. I'm not lying to you, because I know this game very well. Many low information people don't, but that's why you're watching this program tonight.
And we could attest to that. Like, I was in the streets collecting signatures for Sliwa, a whole bunch of Republicans, and we were there. And when we would say Republicans, they would freak out, have meltdowns. But then when I told them it's Curtis Sliwa, it's not federal, it's not like MAGA stuff, they would calm down. And most Democrats actually respect Curtis Sliwa. They didn't have bad things to say. The only bad thing they would say is he's got to get rid of that hat. That's the worst thing they said about him. But everybody respects him because they know that he's paid his dues and he's done a lot for this city. Okay, so everybody respects him. They might not vote for him, but they respect him at least, and that goes a long way. So absolutely.
He's also a real New Yorker. Can we talk about this? The fact that Mamdani hasn't been a citizen for too long. The fact that I have yet to see one like United States flag at any of his rallies. The fact that when you ask him a pressing question regarding his past, his endorsements, things he said in his songs, people that he supposedly has, ramped or been really friendly with or like venerated, however you want to say it. Whenever he's pressed, he just stays really quiet. So one can never accuse him of lying, but I don't trust someone who doesn't have a response. Now, gentlemen, you guys have different levels of your familiarity with Curtis. Have you ever seen Curtis not have a response for any question he's ever asked?
Nope. I'm still flummoxed over the Maud Moran thing with the district. Curtis is going to get her votes in Manhattan. Whereas if he wasn't on the ticket, if you listen to these morons like, the Emily Austins, all these people that have no idea about politics, they're pretty and they want to dance around on TikTok. They have no idea. Keep going on that #1 rated show in the morning by WABC. That's doing real wonders for you. These people have no idea about anything. And, I could actually relate to this because I lost my job over this nonsense, over this political nonsense. And you guys are really just far off, have no brains how to win this, And John keeps telling you guys about that district attorney race, how it's disgusting and disgraceful. There is no help from the Republican Party at all. And from Mr. John Katzenman, Mr. Gristides, Mr. Big Shot Oil Tycoon, who loves Andrew Cuomo, that guy talks all this stuff about the district attorney, does nothing about it. And here is with Curtis, right? The guy was sitting across from him doing a TV show, his radio show in the morning, where he replaced the number one radio host was on a foreign trip somewhere. So Curtis and Katz were on there. Why doesn't he tell him right there? I don't think you could win. He didn't tell him anything there. He was joking around, all this stuff. All along, he's lining him up because he never wanted this guy to run. And I'm going to tell you something else. When Frank Morano, my friend that worked there, used to do his midnight show, that was the #1 rated show actually at night. Frank Morano decided to run for city council in Staten Island when that other fake Republican, Joe Borelli, left. We don't know why, but I think I might have an idea what's going on there. When Frank ran, John Katz turns around. Instead of supporting a guy he's known for years that worked there, he starts trying to put up Vito Fosella's kid, who I don't even know if this guy knows how to run. He starts funding this guy's campaign. That's all you need to know about this guy with John Katz. He's a disgraceful human being. Listening to him, and by the way, if you go to the supermarket, be careful. I don't know if it's that people tell me is very dirty in there, just so you know. But you this guy, in a way he does business, that is it. People shouldn't be listening to that radio station anymore. I'm sorry. In the comments I'm seeing, they're wondering what's going on. It's pretty simple. Anyone that works there, go on your own. You'd be much better off. Greg Kelly could go to Newsmax.
Boycott that shit. Boycott
These people who don't have your best
John
interest.
Katzimatidis. I just coined the new name.
Who doesn't support anyone. He doesn't support anyone. John can tell you. Mon Moran, who was on this show.
John Katzimatidis. Sit
No
your fucking ass
no
down,
support
John.
from this guy.
Shame on you, and he's Greek. Shame on you.
Sitting Cuomo in the morning. What do we think? Sitting Cuomo in the morning, number one morning show. But look, it's so many people, dude. So we had Dove Hyken flip on Curtis, out there supporting him forever and ever, right? And then all of a sudden, last minute, early voting starts. Dove Hyken flips on him. Joe Borelli flips on him. John Katzimatidis, Sid Rosenberg, Greg Kelly. I don't know. Michael Rappaport is a maniac. I don't know who listens to this guy for anything. All I ever remember is Michael Rappaport during COVID.
He's a little bitch.
Screaming about everyone needs to get vaccinated or they need to exterminate us if we're not. And now all of a sudden he like Sid Rosenberg, and they're trying to he has him standing next to him, and they're trying to put him up there like a political commentator, like he's a sane person that people should listen to. And I'm like, I'm sorry guys, your case just isn't making it. And I had Jim Walden, another one that flipped out. He comes on the show and I'm like, Jim, why do you think Cuomo could win? And he's like, because of the polls. And I'm like, the polls said that he was going to win the Democratic primary. I'm like, and then the polls said that Eric Adams was the best shot. And he's like, well, I don't believe the polls. I was like, so why are you vote? I don't understand that. Well, because you got to take something from the polls. And I'm like, okay. And then when you look at, and then I had a public advocate candidate, Marty Dolan, on. It was the same conversation. I don't trust the polls, but I'm voting for him because of the polls. And then when you go out amongst the masses, that's what it is. When you talk to people that are like brainwashed and no, we have to do this. There's a lady today on Twitter saying, Andrew Cuomo murdered my husband, but I'm voting for him. Like, I'm like, wow. Why? And you're going to ask her because of the polls. Which polls have been right? None.
But listen, but then those same people.
Poll is this poll.
Fuck
out of here with
listen,
that fucking bullshit.
But then they'll come out and they'll be like, well, how are you going to feel that you're the spoiler? You could have saved New York City from Mom Donnie. And then here's the thing, right? Mama and Papa didn't raise no stupid woman. Tell me in what type of recent history had the Democratic leadership extended an olive branch to any Republican that I'm aware of in the city? Like, no, they've made our lives impossible. They've made our lives hell. Like, people like me can't have hard time finding little gigs because I'm the other. I'm not brown anymore. I don't even know what I am. According to them, I'm not human because I'm Republican.
You have white privilege now. Congratulations.
Thank you. But where's the monies? If I got white privilege, where's the monies?
Wait a minute, John. Who's this person? Who's this person who said that he killed my husband and I'm still voting for him? Who the fuck said that? I want to know who this person is.
I'll send you the Twitter link. It's like some unknown name. So I wouldn't put it past the Cuomo camp to
just make it up.
To make it up and pay some.
So it wasn't somebody you were interviewing. It wasn't somebody you were interviewing.
It's out there and it's going viral now.
Right.
And she retweeted Dove Hyken's post where he was like, I just did a video on him today too, where he was saying all the terrible things about Cuomo, and then I just placed it there. But I'm endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
But listen, he was at that thing today. He was at that thing standing next to Michael Rappaport and Sid Rosenberg. And I don't know. I really didn't see. But there was nobody there. So what do you talk? What rally? What, you in front of a microphone like that? I could do that
with
myself.
2 people. Listen,
myself.
At the second mayoral debate, guys, the Pérez sisters, because I knew it. I was like, as we were approaching the rallies, because they had three little pre-rallies, I was like, let's start rolling and let's capture this unedited, right? And you see it. You see it for yourself. There was barely any people there for Cuomo in the little pen. Whoever was there, they were just like holding signs, like just sign holders.
Like, save me. They were
There,
forced to
did
do
you?
it at gunpoint.
I don't think there was a Cuomo chant. The Zora supporters had their chant, which we chimed in with. No, Cuomo. Absolutely, we are with you. But I was wearing a Sliwa shirt. They didn't feel, I was like, we agree with something. And then there was the beautiful flags across the street. Where did they position the Republican little pen? Across the street from. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm offended. I'm gonna start acting like a very marginalized person. I'm gonna start getting everything right. So I'm gonna be the marginalized Republican like all of you, and I'm like, yo, how come you put the Republican who's the other major party here not with? It should have been pen to pen and Cuomo across the street. You're the independent. You got no energy for your thing, and you're not a major party here in New York City. How come in the world you didn't put Sliwa right next to across by where the entrance is to the debate? So in every sense of the word, they have been positioning Sliwa out. When you see the first debate, for those who watched it, if it wasn't for Sliwa being so witty and finding his way to making comments, people would not have known. Thank God. Like, he went viral after that. Thank God he's getting so much press. And then the second debate was fair, and people started to actually see, yeah, there's been a sane choice for New York this whole time. And the reason, guys, that you haven't known about it, blame the Democrats, blame the big media collusion, and blame people. Like, if I don't know why Bill Ackman keeps popping up in my feed. I don't follow this man, but he is, to me, one of the annoying mosquitoes. You guys are so out of touch. If you are really so wanting to protect your money, you should have an idea of what boots on the ground people are really wanting. You're disconnected. Thumbs down. And for the influencers, for all of you, whether you live outside New York or you have been all of a sudden a flip-flop, oh, we've seen you. Oh, I have unsubscribed. I'm not going to support any of you. I cannot stand with flip-flops. I am ride or die with loyalty and integrity. And that counts for something.
Really quick. The best thing about all these cucks for Cuomo sexuals on social media is when you look at the comments, 9 out of 10 at least are attacking them and saying what a bitch they are. What a grow some balls, have a spine, like, you spineless piece of shit. Like, the comments on there, like 9 out of 10 at least. Every now and then it's like, well, so we do Mandami then? Like, no, Sliwa. Like, what do you, like, the media just makes it seem like it's Cuomo or Mamdani. Those are your two choices. Fox News, Newsmax, all these people never even gave Sliwa the light of day. A lot of the people that don't watch, like, local news and they watch the national news that lives in New York, they don't even know that Sliwa was a candidate. And this is the Republican candidate. If they put in this effort to say what I've been saying, which is common sense, that the Democrats are splitting the vote, now's our chance. Make sure we're united. But no, the goal is to either one of them win and they kill and divide the Republican Party in New York, because we're divided now. We're most of us are united, but we're having these influencers and all these people. I would say, unfortunately, I think probably about 10% of Republicans, 10% of Cuomo's vote, I should say, is going to come from the Cuomo-sexuals that were brainwashed to believe that he's the better choice, and that could be the difference maker. Unfortunately, hopefully, it's Sliwa can overcome that, and I think he's got 13 campaign offices. He's got all of the animal rights activists. He's got the Animal Rights Party to save the animals. So he's got a lot going for him, and it's just like, I hope, these Cuomo sexuals wake up before the election and vote Sliwa.
Yeah.
So, Rose, can I ask you a question real quick? And you too, Kozi, because I know you guys have been canvassing a lot for some candidates. And I know, like we had spaces early on, Mandani, when he was polling at 1%, and we all kind of had that same feeling that he was going to come through, and he was running like a modern campaign. And and it's my personal opinion. I'm just curious what you guys think about that. It's my personal opinion that his campaign really hasn't picked up steam from that point. And I'm kind of seeing all the things that I thought about Mondani's campaign in the primary. I'm seeing that momentum push with Curtis Sliwa, like Mark's talking about, with the social media push, with the on the ground support. I just spoke to Jimmy Wagner today, president of the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club, and he told me he was out in Brooklyn canvassing for Athena Clark, and he's like, John, I just want to tell you, he's like, I'm in the heart of Brooklyn. I spoke to 600 people today. 500 of them, over 500 of them, were for Curtis Sliwa. I spoke to a few Mondani people. I spoke to a couple of Cuomo people. Basically, everybody I ran into in Brooklyn is voting for Curtis Sliwa. Like, what do you guys think? Because, like, do you feel that momentum with Curtis Sliwa, sort of like that push, that modern push that Mondani had early on in the primary?
Which neighborhood were you referring to that you were asking people?
No, it was Jimmy Wagner, and it was District 46 in Brooklyn. I think it covers like Midwood,
Yeah,
it covers Canarsie.
Yeah, those are Sliwa supporters, because they see people who are scared of crime, like areas where there's crime, like they want help, right? They want something different, for sure. I can see that. But like, listen, what you said is right. Like, I think that Sliwa picked up a lot of steam this last month and a half. I've seen him picking up steam. There's good energy, man. There's real New York fire behind him that's pushing it. Now, is it going to be enough to win the election? It's up to us. Like, literally, it could have happened, but these billionaires, like we were saying, they saw it and they got scared, and they're like, put out this fire now, put out this fire now. And just goes to show you that they're terrified. Sliwa was going to win this, and he could still win this if you guys wake the fuck up and stop listening to PBD and all these other fuckers. It's up to you guys. Basically, it's up to you. If you're an idiot and you want to follow these influencers, then you're helping burn New York City.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been, because I think I made myself sick from watching the first debate, and between the second debate, I got myself sick because I was so incensed that they were pretty much just catering. Hi, Mom Donnie, tell us what you would like to know. Well, no. You Curtis Sliwa, you have 1 minute, and then he's still talking. Time's up. Mom Donnie, your turn to respond. That's what it felt like. Like they were like winking, and they would have made out with him at the end of this debate, the way they were throwing it to him. So when I was out there for debate number 2, when Curtis Sliwa walked in, yeah, he has some press. When Mom Donnie walked in, the press, the mainstream media press, ran up to him like if Michael Jackson had just shown up. So do you see what I mean? So I don't think that the person that we interviewed, who's a human being, a real New Yorker, the person, Alan, that said, I think that Cuomo's actually helping Mom Donnie, I wouldn't be surprised. Just by the fact that you got rejected twice and you still went independent, that is what you're doing. And shame to anybody who is being a mosquito. First of all, I'm not addressing mosquito energy. If you are not adding to anything to elevate us in New York, or us as independent content creators and what we do, because we're not just here blowing smoke, we're over here, we're connecting, activating with people, and doing what we need to do from however God is calling us to do this work. I don't know how you guys feel, right? I feel like I've hit another marker, like in 2020, right? When there were all these activation points. My line in the sand was when they told us to mask up. I became a drama queen from that point up, and no one has been able to shut me up about masks, right? Now we're in 2025, and after all the things that we went through in the last couple of years, and we're almost healing, and now this happens in New York City, I am almost feeling like I'm disavowing the Democratic leadership here. You guys, to me, are the enemy. I don't think I've ever said that. Like, I was raised Catholic Christian. I don't use these words as these people are my enemy. They're not. It's not in my vocabulary. But guys, ever since 2020, it's entered my vocabulary. It entered my vocabulary when we heard the Pope say it's your moral duty to take the injection. It entered my vocabulary when we had business people and people who were repping unions and folks like you guys who were on the front lines without any protection or at all of a sudden, when you say no, they kick you out. And then these people are the ones telling us that it's our fault if New York goes down in flames. Assholes, you created this mess. That is slipping right off me like butter. I have nothing to do here. If anything, you fucking idiots, because I'm so upset. You guys have little mosquito brains. You should be thanking us and kissing our buns and looking for how to elevate, support us in every single way, because right single now in this moment in time, so many people have lost credibility. Right here, right now, this little boxes and people that we know, we are the real media in New York. 10 toes.
Yeah, and I want to say, I don't know, I'm just thinking about this, is like what I think we should do as New Yorkers is basically tell people, you know what? Unfollow all these social media influencers who are telling you to vote for Cuomo. It's like, it's like DDT. Just kill off these mosquitoes, these mind viruses, because this is what this is. These are mind viruses trying to tell you that Curtis can't win. Okay? Mind viruses, and vaccinate yourself against these mind viruses.
But my thing is, what about loyalty? What the fuck happened to being loyal? What the fuck happened to being loyal? Because all I see with the Democrats, and they've done this to me too, is that the moment that you're no longer useful to them, they find a way to exit you out. Who wants that as a friend? I don't need a fair weather friend. What they did to Curtis is one of the most horrid weaponizations I have ever witnessed in politics since I've been aware of the races, from the races that I have studied. I'm not covering all of them, but this is disgusting to me. I am disgusted with some of these human beings. Some of you are my friends out of respect for you and out of respect because I like to keep private stuff private. I'm not going to blast any of you in public, but I am so ashamed. I am so ashamed that we are here in this moment.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I just correlate it to like, listen, I don't care if we're outnumbered. I don't care if we're going down. If you're my friend and we're in a bar, I'm not running out the back door. Like, I'm with you. And what I see is people who claim to be your friends going out there starting shit, and then when the shit comes, they're running out the back door. You know, and that's what it is. And like, and to me personally, you know, I laugh at anyone that says they're a Democrat today, because I don't know if anybody paid attention to what happened in Queens last night, but that is the Democratic Party. That is. Zohran Mamdani's the face of the Democratic Party. If he wasn't, Kathy Hochul, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, all these other guys, Hakeem Jeffries, they wouldn't be kissing his ass. They're kissing his ass because they need the DSA support. And that is why I believe Andrew Cuomo's still in this race. I believe he's in this race. He knows he can't win. He's not even campaigning. He's letting other people campaign for him. He hasn't been on the ground at all. And what he's doing is he's splitting the vote. He's splitting the vote. They're using fear. They're fear-mongering. It works on people. We saw how fear works during COVID. They use it to control you. He's fear-monger. He's splitting the vote, and he's causing Curtis Sliwa to lose, and he's causing Mamdani to win. Bingo. And he will be repaid later on because we got a governor race coming up, and I don't think anybody, including the people that vote for Andrew Cuomo, believe that he actually wants to be the mayor.
Now,
I agree
first,
with you 100%.
First of all, John, not only are they running out the back door, they're throwing a chair behind them so that Curtis slips and could be, catch a beat, and that's what they're doing. These influencers are either stupid or controlled, so there's no reason why you would want to follow them. But to answer your question from about 20 minutes ago, John, Canarsie is about 10 to 20% Republican. Very, very low Republican. So the fact that Curtis Lewa was still popular there, I mean, he's lived there for a good portion of his life, as well as East New York, as well as Brownsville, which is basically East New York and Brownsville. You guys are cops. You know, those are the two worst neighborhoods in like all of New York City, pretty much, when it comes to crime. And Errol Lewis did an interview with Curtis Lewa on the streets of Brownsville. And I shared that, and thankfully a lot of other people share that. And I shared it to all the Facebook groups that are political to get the word out. Like, people love Curtis Lewa. They see him on the street. Doesn't matter if they normally will vote Democrat. They don't see him as MAGA. And to go back to Sal's point, you have these influences. Oh, Sliwa doesn't have a chance. Maybe if Trump endorsed him, then he... No, dumbass. No. It's political suicide in New York City, citywide. And as you said, if you're a local candidate in South Brooklyn or Staten Island, it's gold, a Trump endorsement. But it means it's political suicide in New York City. So every time Trump is, Sliwa's distancing himself from Trump, I'm clapping my hands like, attaboy, don't take the bait. They're trying to get you to say that you're going to work with Trump. They're trying to say that you're going to be Trump's. Let Mamdani attack Cuomo for saying, oh, you're Trump's boy, whatever, to get people to think, Cuomo's Trump's person so that they take that Democrat vote, or, whatever. Like, let Trump, be quiet during this election and let Sliwa get the support from the Democrats because, like I said, people love him. So the fact that you said they were asking people in Canarsie and they were for Sliwa, that shows he's a lot more popular than what these bullshit polls are saying. And I'm hoping that we get a real surprise on Election Day.
Yeah. For starters with Trump, he was saying he doesn't like Curtis has cats at the Gracie Mansion. Dude, you have no problem. You have an outright criminal there right now. Outright criminal who sold the city out, and his entire police department, upper echelon, belong in jail right next to him in the same cells. I mean, it's out in your face. You have no problem with that, but you have a problem with a guy with cats. No, his problem is that his little real estate deals through his son are not going to go the way he wants them to with Curtis Sliwa as mayor, just like John Katz and Bill Ackman. Because what Curtis wants to do is all those high rises that are office space that no one's used in like, I don't know how long, that's going to be converted into housing. So we can't have those feeble, poor people in our high rise. That's what's really going on. That's the city of yes. And Trump would be for that. If you don't, he would never tell you that in your face. But in reality, he's a real estate mogul. What do you expect? So to hear him in New York City, his opinion does not matter. It only matters in South Brooklyn, parts of like the Bronx, maybe like one little district. Oh, Christine Marmorato. How is she going to win without Curtis on the ticket? But we got to replace him because Andrew Cuomo, nobody understands politics. The guy running on top of the ticket for your party carries the entire ticket. If you don't have a top of the ticket, you will get crushed. And I guess the Republicans, they want to lose seats. So they could go on Fox News and go on #1 rated show, allegedly, on radio and say, oh, we need to do better as Republicans. John Katz could do the same thing, even though he's a billionaire. He can fund the whole thing himself.
Yeah, give us more money because we need more money, more of your support.
We need more of your support. Let's have a party at Jimmy Rodriguez's place and we'll all, do some crazy stuff there. Like, that's what these guys do. Like, that's the whole MO of these people.
And this year, like,
professional losers.
What my suspicions were what I was suspecting was that the GOP in New York is working with the Democrats. They're in cahoots. For years, I've been thinking about this, but this year actually proved it without a doubt.
Question.
Without a doubt.
Question. How do you have some Republican? So Mr. #1 rated TV show who thinks he knows, radio show knows everything about politics, who said he was going to deliver New York to Trump. How did that work out? He said that Curtis needs to drop out. I understand he'd probably listen to his boss, John Katz. But guess what? If he drops out, all your friends, Vicky Palladino, Ina Vernikov, whoever else you have on, all that Republicans go bye-bye because
They
there's
don't
no
care
top
about
of the
that.
ticket.
They don't care
And
about that. These are scumbags.
one person that he does work there, and he's my friend, he said a couple of things that matter. Number one, he watched the debate, and he said these three things. And that's Roger Stone, by the way. He said, Andrew Cuomo showed you understands government, like how it works, because he was a governor. He said Mamdani understands politics because you saw he was jabbing back at Cuomo. But he said Curtis understands New York. So he goes, that should show you, he goes, how you should vote. And then he's never wavered on his support of Curtis, no matter what. Like that, and so was Frank Morano. You know, I've seen some other people I know that are wavering. Everyone else there at WABC completely just, other than Anthony Cumia, who really has the job but doesn't really need it. You know, that's what it is. If you don't need that job, you'll say the truth. If you need that job, you'll go with that. Latest in New York Post, by the way, another person that has a job there, Cindy Adams, crushing Curtis on her article. She's like 90-something years old. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know if she's all there, but she said Curtis, Cuomo's the only hope for New York. She must have forgot when she wasn't allowed out of her house just 5 years ago by this man, you know? But it's, I don't, you know, I can't say it enough. You have to not be low information. And this is all the way around. Look at geopolitically and local. Local is where it starts. You know, if this man became mayor, New York City could kind of roll back a little bit of all this nonsense they've had for 16 years. And you'd have a guy that could steer it from the middle. He's not all the way right. He's not all the way left. He's literally like he's a true independent.
Yeah.
And that's what they hate. He's independent. He's not a true Republican in that sense, in that he doesn't sound like Trump and do all these crazy things. Yeah, he's for legal immigration. He doesn't like illegal immigration. He's against that. But you know what he says? Should you be picking up people working in a pizzeria? No. He says, I thought we were going after criminals, right? That's what I thought we were doing. Now, you saw what kind of happened on debate night in the morning where ICE was doing what the NYPD should be doing. And disgracefully, the police department didn't back any of those guys up at all. So you're seeing what they're trying to do, how they're trying to create division, how they're trying to create civil wars. This is all manufactured. In the end, Curtis Sliwa is the only candidate that makes sense. The other two guys are both radicals, both puppets, both City of Yes. And all this fear-mongering, like there's going to be some 9/11 incident because this guy wins. Let me tell you something. I saw a video, and this is disgraceful. They showed a call to prayer that was a park full of Muslims, and they're trying to say, this is the next London. Even Patrick Bet-David doing this. This is London coming to you. That's been going on since my earliest days as a police officer. They have places where they have called a prayer. Now, you want to start calling? Now, I'm going to tell you this. I know a lot of Muslims that they're conservatives. They vote that way. You're insulting their intelligence and their religion to prop up your propaganda, and you're steering them away from that. That's why they didn't want to know. They don't want to vote Republican or even say anything because they feel that you think they're all terrorists. They're humble people. Yes, there's going to be some that are, I guess, radical. But if you start lumping them all in, how about I lump all of you guys in? I can start lumping groups in left and right.
You're absolutely right, man. I hate when they do that and it shoots themselves in the foot.
But Kozi, the call to prayer.
Up.
The call to prayer has been going on forever. Doesn't mean you have a crowd of terrorists. It doesn't mean anything.
Of course.
That's been going on forever. Why are you now making it into a political issue when the only issue at hand is you have a guy who's an empty suit as a state assemblyman, has numerous campaign finance violations, felonies that should disqualify him, get him indicted immediately in his whole campaign, and he doesn't know. Ask him a question on the debate stage. I don't have an answer. I have no position on it. What more do you need? No, let's attack this guy's religion, everyone with it. So you're making it a broader agenda of whatever that broader agenda is. And that's scary because you're turning this into a holy war. Like nobody's even talking about that. What does that have to do? What does the call to prayer have to do with this guy being unfit to be in office? Because I can't correlate the two other than that's sowing division, which is what John Katz and companies like, because that's how they make money.
Yeah, I hate the whole 9/11 jihadist BS. Like There's no need to even go there. He's a communist, even if he was white. He's a communist.
He's not even in the state assembly. He's passed 4 bills in 5 years. And the last one he passed was a street naming in Boston, New York. He represents Astoria. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just playing a role. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's like, all right, I have this job. I got millions. That's all he cares about. Like,
the lowest attendance record in the state assembly, the lowest voting record in the state assembly. He's not doing his job as a state assemblyman. You want to give him a promotion to mayor? To the, a state assemblyman doesn't do his job, it doesn't impact New York. A mayor doesn't do his job, New York goes to shit. And here's another analogy for you, okay? Mamdani wants to push New York off of a plane. Cuomo wants to push New York off a plane with a broken parachute. Same result. The parachute's there, but it's broken. You're still falling.
Eric Adams said he was going to steer. He's the pilot of the ship. Remember that? He's the pilot of the
You want
plane.
the plane to crash? Yeah.
The plane to crash in like the World Trade Center. You could watch it any day. He said, remember that? He's another fearmonger. But again, what you're saying, how all that stuff, it all correlates, right? But going back to this thing, right? I don't know. They're making this about a man's religion, and voters don't like ad hominem attacks. You talk about race or religion attack. That's why Mamdani is kind of mentioning that, but he's also talking about Trump, right? But when Trump was running, he was doing ad hominem attacks to Kamala Harris. He said she says she's African American, she's Indian, and he was dropping by doing that. When all he had to do was stick to the goddamn issues. She's a horrible candidate. She was terrible as a lawyer. She did nothing as vice president. That's all you had to say. Stop making it about race. People don't want to hear about race and religion. You attack them personally. They want to know what you're going to do for their pocket and their livelihoods. It has nothing to do with who they pray for and what color their skin is. But that's what they're doing with this. So if people could see through that, no reason why Curtis can't win. And by the way, he doesn't need 51% because they're going to split all these votes. He only needs about 35 and 38%. And he should be right around there, regardless of what people are saying. But keep it up with the prayer jokes and all that stuff and hitting these people. You'll see how high up Mamdani ends up.
3 to 5% is going to go to these, third-party candidates. Eric Adams is still on the ballot.
Mm-hmm. 1% Jim.
1% Jim.
Minus 1% Jim. Minus 1%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people, they might have gotten a palm card from Walden, maybe liked him, maybe they're voting for him, whatever. So it's still very reasonable with the votes being split. And speaking of Eric Adams, on the second debate, all 3 candidates said they don't want Eric Adams' endorsement. No, I don't want nothing to do with him. Not even 2 days later, I don't know if it was the next day or 2 days later, Eric Adams is endorsing Cuomo, and they're hugging. And he's like,
hold on. They were at the basketball game right after that, and I don't know. I said, maybe he went to go to Sobro Gardens and hang out with Jimmy Rodriguez. Who knows what they did after that? But they were together right after he said, I don't want his endorsement.
Well, that's normally what the candidates do. They go to their supporters. He got his one supporter on the stage, the Knicks, Eric Adams, and that was it. Where was Curtis Lee? Well, Curtis Lee jumped on our space.
Yep.
He went on an interview. Then he went with you guys to the after party. I mean, he still was campaigning. And what do you guys think about, though, like Cuomo? Like, I personally believe he gave Zohran Mamdani a walk in the Democratic primary. Like, there was nothing. We knew who he was because we pay attention. We're nerds. We pay attention to politics in New York City. Mm-hmm. The country didn't know who he was. And Andrew Cuomo, there was no opposition research on Zohran Mamdani whatsoever. If Zohran Mamdani, the day after the Democratic primary, rises to national attention. He becomes an AOC figure overnight. And it was Eric Adams that really did that because he's like, all right, good. I don't have to run against Cuomo now. I'll just start beating this kid up. But Cuomo didn't do that. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, because it's bothering me. It really bothers me.
I think that was his role. I think that he knew he's disgraced. Look, he knew nobody. They probably said, you know what? We'll allow you to play with us again in the same playground if you help this guy win. Because he didn't campaign. He didn't campaign at all. You didn't see him say anything. He wasn't going around. I didn't see shit from Cuomo. His name was just up there. I didn't see him going around talking, knocking on doors, bring canvassers. I never saw it. Never saw it. Okay. So, and then he loses and then runs independent just to split the vote. I totally believe that. I've been thinking the same thing like you're thinking, you know?
Just to clarify, and
I have to actually leave at 10 because I got to go pick up my daughter. So I just want to say one last thing. I just want to say that Curtis Lewa is the only one that can heal New York. I've been thinking about this. He's the only one that can heal New York because he respects people, the way he talks to people. He doesn't bash people. Okay. It sort of reminds me like when Kennedy was running, right? It's like this approach that he's like, you know what? I'm going to attack your politics. I'm not going to attack the person. You know, he gives me that same vibe, right? Somebody who truly cares. And I think Curtis Lewa will heal the city if you guys allow him to do it. So vote for him. I usually don't endorse candidates. I never fucking do. Very rarely. But this one I see it clearly. I know he really freaking cares, man. Don't fall for the influencers. Don't fall for these news people. They don't fucking love you. They fucking hate you.
Mm-hmm.
We fucking love you right here. We're the ones sacrificing everything. We sacrifice our jobs. We sacrifice our reputations. All we care about is saving the place that we live in, being able to have a great community. We have nothing to gain from this, really. We're losing more than we're gaining. So people, do the right thing. Shut off your fucking TV and go vote for Curtis Lewa.
Kozi, how do you pronounce Katsimatidis' name last time again?
Katsimatidis! Come on, boy. Shake them titties, Katsimatidis. You're done. You're done like a freaking turkey.
A rather large one.
You're done. Boycott Christidis. Boycott your fucking show. Go fuck yourself, Katsimatidis.
if you want to heal New York, vote Sliwa. If you want to heal your skin, make sure you wash yourself with Kozi's Pure Soaps. Kozi'sPureSoaps.com. Got the plug before you go, Kozi.
He's going to need a lot of those soaps for him.
You'll need that if you walk inside of Gristides.
You gotta have an industrial star size bar for cats and titties.
Wash them titties, boy. They're dirty. Can't take this anymore, man. What's going on, New York? Every year it gets worse and worse. What's going to happen, guys? All right. Visualize this with me. Curtis Lewa wins. The world is shocked, and he heals New York City. Let's go, Curtis. We love you.
Bada bing, bada boom. Morons for Zoran, as Sapphire Red said, and cucks for Cuomo. Spineless cucks for Cuomo.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. We had a lot of fun. We'll do this again. Let's go, people. Let's get it. Take care.
Next week will be the last show before the election. Who knows what special guests we're going to have. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You definitely don't want to miss it. Cafecito break. Cafecito, we're going into double overtime, or we're going to wrap things up with final thoughts here?
Let's start wrapping up because I'm pretty sure, I mean, we are in the hell week of election madness, and I know that so many of us have so many things to keep doing. I've been a very big squeaky wheel on social media. I have the irritants trying to get at me in on messages, and some of them are like former friends, and I'm like, I can't have you be the mosquitoes at this 11th hour with everything I'm dealing with, and you're pretending you know New York City politics. Shut up. It's like, I don't need this. It's one thing to be weighed down by a-holes that you don't know, you don't care about. It's another thing when it's people that you thought were your friends back in the day. And again, people have no idea what it's like to be advocating, to be this strong, because as you see, it's not only that we're fighting the crazy Democratic leadership, but the weaponization of mainstream media that has also weaponized some of the relationships that we have, right? Some of us can't talk to our friends or families because of the talking points, because of what Trump says or what this one says over here. Everybody's fighting. people here that you see on the screen, we're trying to have a better life for our families, for the people that we love, for our legacies, for the future, and for New York, and for the United States, for everybody. But we can't live here in little boxes. Stop that. We have to play together in the sandbox, even if we don't love it. We could do so respectfully. That's how I want to move forward. But to me, that means like if you're coming over to the Cafecito Break Square and you're gonna come with disrespect, then you've exited yourself only by those actions, not because I did anything to you. I don't want to hear, as one of my wrap out comments is, I'm tired of hearing don't finger point. I think it's time for Democrats and people who support Democrats to start taking accountability, and stop looking for who to blame because when things don't go your way. And yes, I know that Republicans are fault here in New York for the ones that don't engage as they should. But the ones that are boots on the ground like us, I feel like you guys are my heroes. Thank you so much for sharing this space with us, and I appreciate and I honor each and every one of you. John, wrap out thoughts and also please plug in your show. And thank you again for all of you for joining us today.
No, listen, it's always a pleasure to be with you guys. I feel like I have true friends and family who won't turn their back on me and run like we've seen the snakes do to Curtis Sliwa. So I appreciate you guys for standing strong, like when the winds blow. And we've been through this before, right? We've been through this. We went through this time in COVID where the world shifted and it changed, and we stayed who we are and we stayed true to our thoughts and beliefs. And a lot of the things that we thought then are what we're seeing now. We thought that some of the influencers weren't organic, that it looked like they were controlled by the corporate media and by the billionaires. And what we're seeing particularly in this election, that is in fact the case, that these talking heads, these social media influencers, the larger ones, are in fact paid by billionaires to push narratives, to push political narratives, and to try to sway your perception onto what you believe. And I just, for those of you that are awake, those of you that have eyes that could see and these ears that could hear, it's equally as important that you stand and you tell the truth, And I just want to leave everybody with one scripture, because this has just been in my head all day with the names that just keep coming out and the people who I thought stood behind me and the people who I thought I respected, revealing who they were actually are and how they were using us and trying to push a message and a narrative through us. I just want to leave you guys with Matthew 10:26-29. So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who can kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who destroys both the soul and the body in hell. And that's where we all have to live. We have to stay doing the right thing, not to stay with the world, but to stay true to who we are, stay true to our beliefs, and stay grounded in morality and who we are as people and what we know to be true and to be right. And Andrew Cuomo is not true and right. The Democratic Party, in my opinion, is the party of the Democratic Socialists. It's not my job to save them.
Yeah. I'll say this, I can relate a lot with Curtis. My life's changed. The last 5 years I've been fighting this stupid thing. I was picked out of a random hat because I was friends with someone at the police department, and this leadership in New York City didn't like. They didn't like Roger Stone. They didn't like Trump. Now all of a sudden the leadership does like Trump. Isn't that that's very weird? Even Cuomo himself. But I paid an ultimate price. My life was flipped upside down. My father ended up dying on me. I lost my job. I was called an insurrectionist. You want to talk about defamation? You got some of these people out there calling defamation. I got defamed, and it's cost me everything until this day. It's not easy to get employed. It's not easy for anything because this black cloud, unless it gets settled or you win in this case, finally this case goes to trial, it will always follow you. All right, I get people. I've had the chief of department, all these people in the NYPD take shots at me. Everything's a joke. Everything's funny. But it's not funny because I lost everything. And I could tell you, there were very few people from the very beginning that stuck with me. You know, Roger's always been, obviously, Roger Stone, number one. Number two is Frank Morano. And number three, and I'm not including you guys, but number three was Curtis Sliwa, who went on WABC. And I was on there briefly before Curtis even mentioned my name. I was there once or twice. I was on. John Katz had me and my lawyer on when it first happened. But after that, he doesn't want to know my name, even though he knows who I am, because I've known him since I was a kid. That's another story. But the only person that had my back and really pushed the entire expose on Con Sofrito and the disgraceful things that went on there with the NYPD, and they're hanging out with all these criminals, but they judge me. I'm the bad guy. That was Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa did a whole deep dive on Jimmy Rodriguez. What the hell was the police department? That I don't forget. That's a loyal person, because he easily could have said, who is, he knows who I am, but why should he make a big deal about it? And he did. He did, and it pushed through, and it got through on the station. And a lot of people were, holding their head down because they know who they're hanging out with. They hang out with Jimmy Rodriguez too. So that's all of that came out, and it was Curtis. That shows you how loyal the guy is and how he cares, because he didn't have to do that. But I remember my father, God rest his soul. You know what he'd say when he was younger, when we were living on 18th Avenue? He would see Curtis over there. He always said that he knew his name, but he called him the guy with the red beret. He says, I see him everywhere. I see him in the Bronx and on the subways. I see him outside. He goes, and he's doing the work that can't be seen by us, meaning the Italian people that were there at that time on 18th Avenue, and the cops, meaning he's fighting animals in the street, total thugs in the street, and doing what he has to do where the cops can't be seen doing certain things, and he can't arrest them either. So these were the things this man did. The guy's given his soul, his life, his soul to the city. He's never going to leave, even if they offer him a job here in Florida. He's not coming down here. If anyone deserves this job, it's this guy, because he's very honorable man. I don't care what they say about this guy. Loyalty goes a long way, and I know it doesn't exist in politics, but for me, it always does. I'm Sicilian. That's the way we are, and I'll always be loyal to this guy no matter what. John Katz, you are not going to buy me. I don't care. Curtis is your man. Why is he a man? Because he's incorruptible. That's the main thing I always said. Eric Adams, you saw that worked out, and he was saying the same things I did, and I was there on election night and his primary when he won. But the point of attack with Eric, even if he would have said all the things we knew about him, New York wanted to vote again the second black mayor who was a former cop. That's all people were talking about at that time. So the dynamics were a little different, because people used the election from 4 years ago. It was a completely different dynamic, And Eric got 65% of the vote on a low voter turnout. If you split that vote with two Democrats, all of a sudden, there's only 32, 33%. 4 years later, there's a lot of voter remorse. You voted for this idiot Eric Adams. Do you think these people would vote for a Democrat? Or would they say, man, Curtis was right for 4 years and exposed Eric Adams and all this stuff? I'm just telling you, he's got more than a puncher's chance. I really believe in him, but it's up to you, New York City. I would like to believe in you, but I'm afraid there's a lot of low information people. Like I just saw that post you're talking about. Oh, Cuomo killed my father, but I'm voting for him because he's listening to Dov Hikind, who's, I don't know, one day he could be wearing a Jet jersey and then a Giant jersey at halftime. So I don't know. These are the kind of people got to worry about. So again, it's really up to you. We try to keep it real. We're honest. We don't get paid. I'm not getting paid for anything. Neither is John. Neither is Mark. Neither is Rosa. We don't get paid for this stuff. We do it, like Kozi was saying, out of our heart. And even though I've lost everything, I'd lose everything again if it meant saving New York City and having Curtis Sliwa there, or saving the police department, or standing for what you believe in and having some form of integrity. Because I can't say that for many people at WABC right now. You could always walk away, and you'll probably be bigger on your own. I don't know how many more times I got to say that, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but their views and their comments are not what it was just about a week ago, just so people know. So, thank you for having me on here. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to be on my show tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. So he right here on X on at the Sal Greco, also on the Finest Unfiltered on YouTube, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of that. You can check the show. It streams live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1:05 p.m. And I'll be talking about whatever else just comes our way, because I'm sure from then till now, someone else is going to say, I love Curtis, but now I'm for Cuomo. Oh, wait, don't look at my bank account, but I'm for Cuomo now. I'm sure someone else will come out tomorrow. The true colors are coming out, folks. A lot of people are really yellow, but it looks kind of green in the sun. But now you're seeing their true colors.
So to all the influencers out there, you're not just asking us, pathetically, by the way, to vote for Cuomo. Because you got a paycheck or money related and you decided to sell your soul and your integrity. You're asking us to sacrifice our integrity and vote for a piece of shit. And we're not going to do that. And some of the influencers who are, Deborah, brave enough to come out, Deborah Leah, for Sliwa, go on Fox News and everything. And people in the comments are like, yeah, but Sliwa has a better chance. So it's like, but that's the slippery slope right now. You're saying you're not convincing Republicans to not vote for Sliwa. So if every Republican voted for Cuomo, then maybe he could beat Mamdani. But that's not going to happen. The other way around, if every Republican voted for Sliwa and you guys, have Cuomo split some of that Democrat vote from the Democrats that just can't vote Republican no matter what because they see the R as racist and they just won't do it, they'll vote for Cuomo because they're not communists. So let them vote for Cuomo. Stand united. Let Sliwa get some of the Democrats from the people that love him, and there's a lot of them. As you see in the videos of him on the street, 13 campaign sites, every borough he's got campaign offices, every neighborhood. He's the only candidate that's been to every neighborhood in all 5 boroughs campaigning. He could win. And you guys are saying that, oh, you're going to be the reason why Cuomo doesn't win and Mamdani. No, it's the other way around. The Cuomo-sexuals, you are the ones. It's going to be a lot closer than the fake polls are saying. And if you weren't stupid enough to vote early already for Cuomo and you're still thinking about it, vote for Sliwa. At least you'll have the integrity intact. Even if I'm wrong, even if Sliwa loses by a landslide, which is not going to happen, I have my integrity. Everywhere else in the country, people vote for the candidate that they like. Even if it's an independent that gets like 2%, they vote for the person who they like the most. I'm asking you to vote for the person that you like the most, at least. Not Cuomo. And Sliwa can win. It's not like he's going to get 2% or 11% or any of that bullshit. He can win. Stop being stupid. Thank you.
Stop being stupid. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If it's okay, I would like to just read a couple of the comments. Fire detective, our friend Marlon, this is just an extension of COVID. It never truly ended because the wealth transfer and societal coup begun and COVID is still ongoing. I believe that. Like when that young lady was telling me that she saw no purpose in having to interact with any Republican. Like, why would anybody want to be that stupid? There's nothing to talk to about Democrats about. And I was looking at her, I was like, do you know that Republicans feel like we're casted out of society, like we're segregated, like some of the same ways that, some people who are big civil rights activists who are saying you shouldn't treat people like this is wrong, like you guys are doing the same to us. Like there's all these others, right? How many nicknames we all have? White supremacist, Trumper, Nazi, authoritarian, fascist, oh yeah, we got labeled once by Antifa Christo fascist. I mean, what the fuck are all these labels upon labels to make us an other? You see people like, when I see the stuff that's happening in New York City with the NYPD and the protests, and I see how, I'm like, I understand people feeling angry with the NYPD, but I don't understand why when George happened, people took it out on, when the George Floyd riots happened and people started taking it out on the NYPD and other um units across the country. That made no sense to me. They were not responsible for whatever happened over there. When this whole thing is happening with all of the guests that cross the border legally and it has to be managed and people are protesting, how is that the fault of the NYPD? Why are they targeted at every moment? Like, it makes no freaking sense to me. They're like, well, no. I'm like, you're dehumanizing people that could be your brother in that suit. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know. Gente, we have to wake up. The people that are here reflected on the screens, as you heard, we have all, in some way or another, our lives have been compromised. They're not the same. We are all should have been in top tier in our industries, and we have fallen far from grace, not because of our undoing. We still have our integrity intact. Maybe that's one of the few things I personally have left. So to ask me at the 11th hour to compromise with one of the few things I have left that I would never on earth part with is my integrity. So fuck you guys for trying to even go there with us, because you guys crossed the boundary that I think is, you can't come back from this. Not with me. Not with me. You can't come back from this. I'll keep it friendly in the street. I'll keep it civil. But you crossed the line.
Fuck you, homosexuals.
Bendito, I'm so sorry. Any last comments before we say goodbye? And you know what? I'm gonna wrap it out with Uncle Scotty and his timely message about how he feels about this.
Well, I'm buying a book and I'm going to get it on October 29th. And it's a book that the money goes directly to Dove Hyken, who just endorsed Cuomo. So that book, I'm going to read it on air as soon as I get it. I'm going to go live. It's called American Crisis: Lessons in Leadership from the COVID-19 Pandemic. It basically trolls Governor Cuomo, and it's by former New York State Assemblyman Dove Hyken with the foreword lambasting King Covidus Cuomo. And then it goes into all of this stuff about what he did during COVID to the Jewish community in particular. And here's one of the quotes I want to say. After reading this masterpiece, you'll have sharpened your skills in these areas: intimidation, loving the sound of your own voice, meandering, using hand gestures to match your facial expressions, and most importantly, how to be a vengeful mobster prick, especially when it concerns Jews, the description reads. And we know that Dove Hyken had just came out and released them. So I'm looking forward to that episode. That's going to be a good one. And I just recently released a video. So go over to my Instagram or my X. Check that video out of Doug Hyken's endorsement. I put it out today. I think you'll enjoy it.
I love it, and I really do appreciate the what you read from the Bible, the text from the Bible. I think it is the most perfect. Mi gente, this is a lesson in history. Loyalty, walking with integrity matters. There's a reason why so many people have broken relationships, or they don't know how to build a relationship of any kind, not just with like romantic or like bosses, or just trying to work as a collaborative unit. There's too many flip-flops, and we're not flip-flops. So you guys already know the cards at this 11th hour in the Battle of New York City, where all eyes are in New York City. So many things have been revealed, including who your true independent content creators are. You know what to do. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your likes. We appreciate your comments. And for those of you who can, please donate to all of us, however you feel called to. We show up every day to come up and share what we're learning from our slices of the world, because we love you guys. We love we love our city and we love the United States of America and we love our families and we know that each and every one of us deserves to live a better life, the best life that we can. So that is always what motivates me. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. And see you guys next Monday. Cafecito break live. Let's wrap out with Uncle Scotty and his. Oh, sorry. John, you wanted to say something?
No. I was giving
okay.
you a salute. Let's see Uncle
Okay.
Scotty.
Let's go see Uncle Scotty because I think it's the perfect way to wrap this out. And it's only 54 seconds.
Stop being a pussy. Put your balls on and be a New Yorker.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's one man, only one man, who's going to save this city forever. And I'm not just saying that because it's true. Cuomo is kicking the can down the road. Cuomo created Ma'am Dandy. Adams created Ma'am Dandy. They allowed his cult followers, the socialists, to be violent and destroy and purge. And that's what happens. The revolving doors of justice. That's why it grew. That's how Ma'am Dandy got created. Because of Cuomo. So anybody who votes for Cuomo, you're kicking the can down the road. In 2 years, there's going to be 10 Ma'am Dandies.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week and have a great one. And get out the vote and tell a friend and bring grandma to the poll site. Thank you.